Welcome. This is the continuation of the previous class, stem modifications. Today we will talk about underground stem modification. What is underground stem modification? Underground stem modification means the stems are seen below the surface of the soil and they are modified to store the food material as well as they help for vegetative propagation. These are classified as rhizome, stem tuber, core and bulb. Could you follow me? The stems are seen below the surface of the soil and it is modified to store food material as well as it helps for vegetative propagation. The normal functions of stems we know. What are the normal functions of stem? It gives mechanical support, conduction of water and minerals, and transport of prepared food materials from leaves to various parts of the plant. In addition, certain stems are modified to perform other functions. So we have already discussed aerial stem modifications, subaerial stem modifications, and now the underground stem modifications. And these underground stem modifications are classified as rhizome, stem tuber, core and bulb. See, rhizomes are classified into two. They are vertical rhizomes and horizontal rhizomes are there. The case of vertical rhizome, the stem grows vertically downwards into the soil and it have nodes and internodes. From the nodes, adventitious roots develops. Also, you can see the scale leaves. The typical example is, banana and ferns. Here you can see the fern. The stem is underground and it grows vertically downwards into the soil. And here you can see the nodes and internodes. Here adventitious roots they produced. And sometimes this rhizome is also called a rootstock. As in the case of ferns, we call it as rootstock. In the case of banana, here you can see the adventitious buds develop from the node. Numerous fibrous roots are also, you can see adventitious roots are produced here. And this type of rhizome is called vertical rhizome. And the horizontal rhizome is also there. Horizontal rhizomes are of two types. Horizontal rhizomes, they grow horizontally below the surface of the soil. And they are of two types. One is called monopodial branching type. As in the case of lotus, they are the primary stem grows, the continuous to grow. But in the case of sympodial branching, as in the case of ginger, turmeric, they are the primary stem. They ceases the growth after a certain period of growth. Then the axillary bud again continues to grow. Similarly, that also ceases the growth. Then the axillary bud again develops. And this type of branching pattern we call it as sympodial branching. If we examine the ginger and turmeric, there you can see the nodes and internodes, and from the node scale leaves, and from the axilloscale leaves adventitious buds also produces, and below which you can see the adventitious roots. So the rhizome is an underground stem modification. One grows vertically downwards. Such a type of rhizome we call it as vertical rhizome. and some rhizomes grow horizontally below the surface of the soil, or as in the case of lotus there, the rhizome seen below the mud is an aquatic plant. Lotus is an aquatic plant, but the rhizome immersed in the mud. There you can see the monopodial branching. But in the case of rhizome seen in the ginger as well as in turmeric, there the branching pattern is a sympodial branching pattern. So the rhizome are of two types, vertical rhizome and horizontal rhizome. In this horizontal rhizome, you can see monopodial branching as well as sympodial branching, right? Could you follow me? Then another one is called comb. What is comb? Comb is also an underground stem modification in which the stems grow vertically downwards into the soil and it stores food material and becomes swollen and spherical, or sometimes it is conical in shape. In the case of Amorphophallus, here Amorphophallus or elephant foot yam, there it grows vertically downwards into the soil and store food materials and becomes swollen, and it have a permanent apical bodies here. You can see the nodes and internodes. From the nodes, axillary buds also produces, and these are used for vegetative propagation. As you all know that when you can take this Amorphophallus with axillary buds cut into small pieces, and each piece is used for vegetative propagating method. But in the case of colocasia, here you can see the colocasia, there the stem grows vertically downwards into the soil and it becomes conical in appearance. Here, see, conical in shape, and you can see the nodes and internodes. From the nodes, scale leaves arises, and the axil of this scale leaves, the bud arises. These are also used for vegetative propagation. This also store food material as well as these are used as vegetables, right? That this type of underground stem modification we call it as comb, right? Could you follow me? Comb. There are two types, Amorphophallus and colocasia. It's a typical example. Okay, then stem tube. See, the branches of the stem and at the tip become swollen and spherical due to storage of food materials. The typical example is potato, Solanum tuberosum. If you examine the potato, on the surface you can see small depressions, and these depressions are called eyes, and these represent the nodal region because it is stem. It have nodes and internodes. From the nodes you can see the scale leaves, and from the axil of the scale leaves, the bud arises. This is also used for vegetative propagation. And this type of the branchlets, the stem branches into a number of times, and at the tip of these branches of the stem store food material and become swollen and spherical. That is why it is called stem tubers. There the nodes and internodes are there, and these small depressions we call it as eye. On the axil of the scale leaves, the bud also produces. So this potato, keep it for a long time in your kitchen. You can see this sprout comes out from this potato. These sprouts are nothing but the axillary bud. They can grow into an individual plant, right? This is stem tube, another underground stem modification. Then the last one is called bulb. In this case, actually it is not a stem modification. The stem is very short, conical in appearance. or disc shaped, very compact. They have nodes and inner nodes. They have seen below the surface of the soil, and from the nodes can the scale leaves arises, and which overlap one above the other and become swollen and spherical, and it store food materials. And there are two types of bulbs. That is, one is tunicate bulb and another one is non-tunicate. What do you mean by tunicate? Tunicate means you can see a covering outside this bulb. And these tunicate bulbs are of two types. Simple tunicate bulb is also there. Compound tunicate bulb is also there. Simple tunicate bulb. See, in this case, if we examine onion, here, see, the bulb is covered with the scales, this covering. So, bulb is of two types, tunicate bulb and non-tunicate bulb. Tunicate bulbs are of two types, simple tunicate bulb and compound tunicate bulb is there. The case of tunicate bulb, tunicate means outer covering is there. The onion, if you examine the onion, you can see a covering outside, scale is. We usually peeled off that outer covering. If it is only one covering is there, then it is called a simple tunicate bulb. Example, onion. Then the case of garlic, if you take garlic, see, each small bulb have outer covering and the entire bulb is also covered with another covering. So, if you remove the outer covering, then you will get small onions or small, small onion peelings. Here you can see this one. That also covered with scale leaves. So this type of bulb is called compound tunicate bulb. Bulbs are of two types, tunicate and non-tunicate. Tunicates are of two types, simple tunicate and compound tunicate bulbs are there. Simple tunicate bulb, onion. Compound tunicate bulb, garlic. Could you follow me? Then non-tunicate bulb is also there. Non-tunicate bulb, example lily. Non-tunicate bulb, example lily. There you can't see any outer covering. Scale leaves are, the outer scale leaves are not there. So such a type of bulb is called non-tunicate bulb. Right? With this, you can complete the underground stem modifications. Then the next video we can discuss leaves. Okay, thank you.